Hello, my name is Luke Reed, and I'm here to inform you college students 18, 19, 20 years old about credit cards. Now, what is a credit card? So obviously y'all know what a credit card is. It's that little card that's in that picture right there. Your parents probably have one. You may have one, who knows? But the FDIC, or the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, says that a credit card is an unsecured loan from a bank. So what that means is you're getting a card that is not your money. It is a bank's money that they're giving you privilege to use. Credit cards and debit cards are very similar in the fact that they're both a physical card and you can make purchases with them. However, with a debit card, you're using your own checking account and your purchases are immediately going there. With a credit card, you're borrowing money from a bank, which you're then paying off with your checking account. The best way to manage this card is to use it responsibly. I can tell you why in a minute through credit scores, and I'll get into credit scores right now. So, what is a credit score? According to FICO, which is a leading credit score estimator, there are 5 categories that make up a credit score. The first is your largest category, which takes 35% of your score. It's in the bottom left of this chart, and it is your payment history. Now, what that means is you can keep this at a perfect balance if you are paying your credit card in time and in full. So what that means is you have a credit card payment due every month. No matter how much money is on it, you want to make sure you're paying that entire balance when the payment's due, no matter what. That is the best way to make your credit score go up as a college student. The next largest category is what's called your utilization rate, which is this 30% in the top left. So what that looks like, what a utilization rate is, it's the amount of money on your credit card that you're given, the percent that you're using. So credit card companies recommend that you only use 30% of your utilization rate. So what that would look like is if you have a $1,000 limit on your card, which is predetermined before you get it, and you spend $300 on it, you would do 300 divided by 1,000, and that would get your 30%. The next biggest category you have is the length of your credit history. That is why we recommend it's so important to get one early. This is the best way to build up your credit as a college student, especially at 18, 19 years old. It would be better to wait until you're 21 or so, because you wouldn't have those 3 years of payments and credit history that you're getting. So it's important to get that credit card early as a student. The next category we have is your credit mix. It's the top right category. It takes up 10% of your credit score. Again, this is not a huge part of what makes up your credit score, and there's not really much you can do as a student. What that'll look like is, so credit scores are used for 3 different things. There's your credit card, auto loans, and mortgages. Obviously, you won't have a mortgage unless you own a house at this age, and you're probably not paying a car payment right now, so you won't be needing that. And then lastly is your what's called your hard inquiry, or your credit checks. So it's in that bottom right category. My face is kind of blocking a little bit, so I apologize for that. What that'll look like is every time you apply for a new credit card or something of that nature, what a credit card company will do is they'll do what's called a hard inquiry on your report. What that'll look like is it'll temporarily decrease your score, but then if you end up getting that card, you're making more payments in more time, so you're building up a higher score faster than you would be with just one card rather than 2 or 3. Now, what types of cards are available for college students? There are 2. One is called a student credit card, and one's called a secured credit card. The first I'll talk about is a student credit card. These are what a lot of you guys are going to want to use when you come into college. So many large credit card companies, these are banks, Chase, Capital One, Bank of America, Discover, stuff like that. They all have student credit cards available to you. It's super important to utilize these, especially if you want to establish a relationship with that bank early on in your life. Or if you use your checking account through that, it could be easier to get that credit card at first. All of these cards have certain features available to them. Credit cards use a system called cashback, where they'll give you, depending on the card, depending on what they use, a certain amount of cash back on your purchases on the card. So what that'll look like is, say you have this Chase Freedom student card right here. This card offers you 1% cash back on every purchase you make. So say you spend $10 on a meal, you get 10 cents back, as long as you're using your money responsibly, obviously. If you're a college student that can't get this student credit card off the bat, which a lot of people can't, and that's totally okay, you can get what's called a secured credit card. So what this looks like is you'll put in a security deposit to a credit card company. Say you want this Chase Freedom student card. You put it, and you want a credit limit of $500. You give them $500, and that is your limit. And then once they see that you're responsibly making payments on time and in full, they will give you that security deposit back, and then upgrade your card from a secured credit card to an actual student credit card. So it's a great way to build up your credit immediately. Now, when and how do you use this card? Like I said earlier, it's a card. I mean, use it to buy food, use it to buy your groceries, buy gas, use it for everyday purchases. However, since it is not your money that you are using, you need to be responsible with it. No matter when and how you use it, you need to be responsible. Because if you don't make that payment on time, you will get what's called an APR increase, which is essentially interest on your card, and it'll lower your credit score. So you don't want to do that. So the best advice I give is to use it as if it's a debit card. What that means is you make sure that you don't spend more money that's in your bank account than your credit limit. Say you have a $2,000 credit limit and only $500 in your account, and you have $7 of purchases on your credit card. You're unable to pay that because you don't have the money in your bank account. What that credit card company will start doing is, one, they'll lower your score. Two, they'll start putting interest on that money until you pay it off. So you don't want to end up paying more than you have to. Now, if you haven't listened to anything so far, this is the most important thing to listen to. This is what credit cards can do for college students in the long run. Now, as you can see on the left side on this chart, you have a general credit card. You open this when you're 18 years old. You are starting your credit young. That is the best thing to do. It's how people can get their credit score higher earlier. In the middle, we have what's called a credit score chart. Credit scores range from 300 to 850. Typically, as a college student, you'll start anywhere from 500 to 700. That's totally fine. It doesn't mean a lot until you start increasing it. And what that high credit score will do for you is it'll let you buy a car or have a mortgage, which is essential down the road if you want to be a homeowner or own a car. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a great day.